open your ears, strap on your thinking cap. Socially conscious talk that's entertaining with a dash of humor and the top sports stories of the week. It's time for Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J.
Sellers has Jordan. Jordan with 2 seconds to go. Puts it up and scores at the buzzer. Michael Jordan has won it for Chicago. Manning lobs it. Burris alone. Touchdown, New York.
Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. He hits one deep to right center. That ball is out of here. The Yankees win the pennant.
If you're lying, then you must be half stepping. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. It's back once again for a live show. Be down with us. 804-402-2873. 804-402-2893. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from the Den. Legacy Internet Radio, y'all. We excited to be here. We appreciate the listeners on legacyinternetradio.com. We got the listeners on MixLR, and we appreciate the love and support that we've been getting. It's because of you guys that Legacy Internet Radio is continuing to grow. So thank you so much for the love and the support that we get. We got a hot one for y'all tonight. Of course, we got the dawn of the Major League Baseball season started today, and we got a little bit of chat on that. Not much. We got the NCAA brackets, and there's a little bit of trash talking that's going to go on around here, particularly between the crew and Big Road, because of some of the pronouncements that he had made in some recent weeks. So we're excited to talk to him about that. Of course, we had a tragic injury that happened in the Louisville game yesterday that we're going to get into as well. And then we'll get into NBA. We don't have Kato with us tonight, but we'll definitely soldier through the NBA segment in his absence. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from the Den, y'all. LegacyInternetRadio.com. And then, of course, somewhere around the top of the hour, we'll pick up with the missing and exploited child. And then we got What the Hell for the duration of the show. And as we do every single week, we got some interesting things that is bound to get you all charged up. So we appreciate it. We got MixLR, we got LegacyInternetRadio.com, so we're all excited to be here. So at this time, of course, I always like to go around the room and introduce the crew. And joining us for the very first time, his debut with Ain't No Half Stepping with Marcus J. Joining us in the Den is our homeboy JR. What's going on, brother?
What's up? How you?
We're doing fabulous, man. It's good to see you. Glad to have you here with us on LegacyInternetRadio.com. Ain't No Half Stepping with Marcus J. You ready to get it in, brother?
I'm ready.
Why don't you let the listeners know your NFL affiliation? We always need to know that so we know how much we need to pick on you or not pick on you. We need to know your NFL affiliation.
It's Redskin Power all the way.
Oh, gosh.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Redskin Power.
I didn't hear him.
He stuttered.
I didn't hear him either. I didn't hear him. We love him. He part of the crew now. Once you join us once, you're part of the crew. But not sure how much love he's going to be getting for the rest of the night. But it's cool. Ain't no hashtag really? Marcus J. Of course, go around. Really. Ruben. I'm going to come to you, Ruben.
That's fine. That's my name, son.
Ruben. In a minute.
Hey, man, don't be stealing my shine. It's my moment.
In a minute. As we do, before y'all get too far into y'all bickering, let's go and introduce, of course, joining us again, as he does from time to time. It seems like lately it's been quite a bit, and we're glad to have him. We got
wonder why.
We got the host of the Green Room 2.0 with Jay Grizzy and Lissa P joining us. We got Jay Grizzy. What's up, brother?
What it is, family?
What's your name today?
Jay. El Negro. It's April.
It's April now. See, I
go back to Jay Grizzy.
You going back to Jay Grizzy?
I gotta go back to Jay Grizzy, but so happy to be here again. I feel like the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, funking like a monkey today. Funking like a monkey, you know. I had to put on my wife's secret this morning because I ran out of mine, so I was smelling real feminine today. So but I'm still feeling good.
The true stuff of Grizzlies coming out.
Yeah, y'all don't know about putting that.
No,
if you don't want to be funky like a monkey.
No.
It didn't last long. About 12 o'clock, that joint wore off.
It wore off on
you. It wore off. So that's how I'm feeling. Again, of course, glad to be here. And good Lord.
Back with us after a 1 week hiatus. We didn't miss him, but we gotta say we missed him. We gotta say we missed him.
You know what?
We got Carlton Banks rejoining the crew here at Legacy Internet Radio in the Den. What's up, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm glad to be back. You know what? Y'all can hate on me because you missed the star being up in here. That's what it is. Yeah, the star.
No.
That's all I'm saying.
I was here last week.
No. Rube, we ain't talking about you. The ladies love you, but we talking about the star. Wasn't here last week. That's all.
No, I was here. I was here on the mic I am every single week. The star is right here, brother. Yeah, you all right, man? You doing all right, though?
I'm doing good.
It's good to see you. It's good to have you back, man. We appreciate it.
I know y'all talked about me like a dog last week.
It wasn't as bad as you would think. You know, I wanted to say more about you, you know, but we really didn't care enough about you to talk that much. We had other things to get to. So that's, you know, we mentioned that you wasn't here in the rant section, which was around 9:30 last week, Big Rube. Wasn't it somewhere around
something like that? It was a little late last week.
We didn't even mention that he wasn't here. I don't know that the listeners even missed him. I'm not sure. But we at this moment.
I ain't missing.
You missed me.
Yeah. Well, we of course we always miss them, but it's good to see you. It's glad to have you back. As we continue our dance around the room to introduce the crew, I always like to introduce my main man last, and I like to call him Big Rope.
Yeah.
Big Rope.
Yo.
What's up, bro?
Not much, man. Just chilling.
You doing all right?
I mean, you know, just trying to navigate through the seas of life.
Ooh, that sounds like deep, serious.
I mean, you know.
You gonna put the words with friends away and join us, man?
Probably.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
call you out.
Man, I don't care. I care.
Yeah, I know you don't care, but that doesn't mean that I'm not gonna call you out. Ain't no half Steppin, Marcus J listeners. Big Rube loves y'all so much. He ain't here playing words with friends right now.
Man, I was paying Carlton Banks. I forgot he was coming in today.
You mean to tell me Carlton Banks is playing you right now?
Nah,
he don't want to play me no more.
I stopped playing him too.
Because when JOKEY is a word, I can't. Excuse me. JOKY is a word. I can't.
No, it's EY.
No, it was Y. No, it was Y.
Sure?
It was JOKY for like 80 points, and I was like, really?
Just 80?
Last time I checked, that's not a real word.
Just 80?
Yeah, you were done.
Just 80?
I mean,
you were done.
Cheater.
He was done. I mean, this dude right here, I tell you, Carlton Banks is not the one. I mean, you know, we can clown him about having a whack-ass football team and not liking basketball. There's a lot we can clown him about. We cannot clown him about words with friends.
I'm sorry.
He's lethal.
I don't mean to skip topics, but I got to know.
Okay.
Why in the blue hell did y'all give that dude over $100 million?
I had that on the docket for later.
I didn't know, but I got to know now.
Can you let me? We
need to know now because I got to hear what he's got to say about that garbage.
All right, well,
when Ruben gets to it,
seeing as though it came up now, because I really wanted to talk about it later because I wanted to give it more time. I need to know. I need to know how he feels about this. Obviously, Big Rube just threw a big ass monkey wrench into my schedule for the show. But that's all right.
That's Ruben.
Boom, nuclear mushroom cloud.
Why don't we let the guest, JR, kind of join us at this moment and share with us, and then I'm gonna let Carlton Banks explain this blasphemous contract that was signed down in Dallas. So JR, I'm assuming as a football fan, as a fan of the NFC East, even though you picked the wrong team, picked the right division, so I will give you credit on that. But did you see what the so-called general manager / owner of the team that plays in East Texas with all the bandwagon fans across the country, did you see what he did?
I saw.
Why don't you tell us what your opinion is on that?
Hey, look, it's good for the Redskins.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's good for that secondary.
He can't beat us.
You know,
wow, he torched that secondary before.
All right, well, let's just Big Rube set it up.
D'Angelo Hall ain't with us no more.
That's not the point.
Hold up, fellas. Hold up, fellas.
I know.
Big Rube set it up. Why don't you tell the listeners exactly what we talking about?
Somehow, for whatever reason, I don't know if he was on crack that day or he was smoking that good stuff or he got injected with some good stuff or whatever. Maybe he brought back the old school LSD. I don't know. He licked the little thing on the piece of paper. But he gave Romo 6 years, 106, with $55 million. 55 million? Tell me where he earned $55 million. Please tell me. Was he 1-4 in the playoffs, one NFC East championship, one playoff game, Banks, please explain to me why y'all gave this dude so much
Call
money.
Banks. I will go ahead and shut off all of the other mics right now. Big Rube just dropped his mic.
Thank you.
All the other mics are shut down. I will give you 90 seconds, if you want it, to explain to us why Tony Romo is worth the money that he was just paid by Jerry Jones. None of us will say anything. We won't interrupt you. We might giggle a little bit, but we're not going to say nothing. 90 seconds. Clock's on you. Go.
Okay. Let me say this first and foremost. I don't think he's worth the money. I said that because of the simple fact he has not earned or does he deserve that type of money. He has not shown me anything. I do appreciate what he has done for the Cowboy franchise. However, that amount of money is not warranted by a Tony Romo. Does he get 20 touchdowns a season? Yeah, he gets his 20 plus a season. Not all quarterbacks do that. However, he also throws double digits in interceptions. That in itself is a problem for me. So Jerry wanted to find a franchise quarterback. He wasn't sure that he knew nobody in the draft this season was going to be there. They probably had done some forecasting for next season. There's nobody in that draft. So he's trying to maintain a certain level of consistency in here. And now I see y'all are passing this picture around. And I'm going to take a moment to look at this picture to see what y'all are laughing about. But you know what? Yeah, I see. Mm-hmm.
Hey Jay,
that's horrible.
Hey Jay, I'm gonna let the guest. You've had your 90 seconds. I'm over it.
I'm
You disagree with the money. We all do. You just took a little bit of the thunder out of our pouncing on.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take your thunder.
But I agree with Jay. Why don't you tell us? Why don't you tell the listeners the picture that we were looking at just now?
Hey, look, I just want to know why the Michigan Wolverines come from up north and got more playoff wins in your stadium than you do, and you still pay your quarterback guaranteed 55.
Because the victory that we got took place in Minnesota.
So you never won a playoff game in your building?
We still got more rings than the Redskins.
You never won a playoff game in your building, is what you're saying?
Yeah, we haven't run a game in that building. No playoff games in that building.
All right. Well,
our playoff game victory. Actually, no. We have. We had won a playoff game in that stadium. We beat Philly.
I think I had sex in your building before. Dallas won. I just really wanted to say that. I don't think it was good
We
sex.
have a victory in that stadium.
It was
we
good
beat Philly.
North Texas sex too.
We beat Philly. That's all I can say.
All right. Well, let's just go ahead and kind of put a bow on this one. I'll give you guys an opportunity to kind of jump in. Let me just get my word in on this one. I have been long a person who does not get the Tony Romo thing. I get why Cowboys are into him because he all y'all got.
Right.
And he is the best, quarterback available for y'all. And when you look around, good quarterbacks don't become available often. Doesn't mean that you overpay for one. It just means that, they don't necessarily become available. Now, I remember having conversations with people, particularly Carlton Banks and other delusional folks like him, who have said things like Eli Manning ain't good and Eli Manning doesn't deserve his money and Eli Manning is a marginal quarterback. If I'm not mistaken, Eli Manning, during all that kind of chatter, has not only won multiple playoff games, but has also won 2 Super Bowls, largely on the strength of his own performance. Now, I say again, are you still giving me I'd rather have Tony Romo Kool-Aid as opposed to the Eli Manning Kool-Aid? I just need to know.
Yes, I still will say that because Eli Manning or Eli Fanning happened to be the benefit of some wide receivers who saved his ass. Period.
Yeah, but he also had wide receivers that nobody else wanted. I mean, these are wide receivers that nobody ever heard of before. Okay, you had Plaxico, but other than Plaxico, particularly in the second one, who ever heard of Victor Cruz at that time?
Nobody heard.
Who ever heard of David Tyree?
Who ever heard of Miles Austin? Who's heard of a lot of these wide receivers?
Yeah, but the point that you just made was
he
Eli
was the
Manning
benefit of somebody who was lucky and caught the ball against their helmet.
Okay, but lucky in 2 Super Bowls.
Both Super Bowls were lucky.
2 lucky Super Bowls. Okay, 40-something people have won a Super Bowl in their lifetime. A couple of those teams have won multiples, but they've only been 40-something Super Bowls. Once you get to that point, it's no longer luck. At some point, if you do it once, okay, maybe a 9-17 like the Giants were the last time. Okay, there's an element of, luck to get there and not to get, pushed out of the playoffs. But once you start winning playoff game after game after game, culminating in the final game, I don't think that you can jump on luck anymore, Big Road.
Fact. Tony Romo has just as many NFC East championships as our boy RG3. And RG3 has been playing in the league for 1 year, and Tony Romo has been in the league for how many years? 8?
It's 8 or 9, yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. If I'm a Dallas fan, I get it. I understand why you pay Romo, but $55 million guaranteed. This dude don't deserve $10 million guaranteed. And I'm not trying to be difficult. I'm not trying to be a fan. I'm just basically saying he ain't proved that he's worth $55 million.
Did I argue that point?
No, he didn't argue the point.
Well, no, and I'm not arguing the point.
Yes, you are.
I'm trying to understand.
You're just trying to belittle the situation.
No, I'm just trying to understand why your general manager gave him $55 million.
Because he had his damn mind. And we have always known Jerry Jones to be a great owner, but a terrible general manager.
We had one of those.
Yeah.
But he shut up the last couple of years. And he's a great owner now.
Yeah, I mean,
They gave Vinny the boot though. That was the big thing.
Getting rid of Vince was
you gave Vinny the boot, and you get a guy in there who is looking for fresh talent.
Bruce Allen, beast.
Now
Represent.
Jerry Jones
Needs help.
I was wondering why he got rid of Jimmy Johnson all them years ago, but
Because Jimmy could stand up to him. He didn't like that.
yeah.
But Jimmy was winning.
Yeah, Jimmy.
Hey, look,
was-
that
but you know
next
what?
ring
For
they got was
the Barry Switzer win made Jerry look good for a little while.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, when
To me,
we
that
look
was
back on
still-
history, we realized how poor of a decision that was.
No playoffs, no NFC East championship. Jason Garrett fired. Question.
Possibly.
What do you think?
Can we be a little bit more
I can't
definitive?
be-
I mean, yes or no, dude?
Well,
Would you fire him if he doesn't win anything?
You're the general manager.
You're crazy.
No.
You just gave
if I
him,
could get John Gruden or if I could get Bill Cowher, I'm firing him.
but you just gave average quarterback $55 million, and your coach didn't get a raise. Nah, man, coach is on the hot seat. There's no. He basically said that Romo is safe.
Yeah.
Garrett, you need to find something, because with a quarterback like that, well, you paying a quarterback that much and he doesn't make the playoffs, that basically says it's not Romo's fault anymore.
Right.
This is your fault, and if you do not fix this, you will be fired. That's what it says. There's no other way that if I'm Jason Garrett that I'm looking at this. If you don't make at least the playoffs, you're toast. You might as well pack your bags on the last day of the season.
Ain't no half step in Marcus, Jay. We're gonna leave that one there. I'm over the Cowboys already. I don't want to talk about them no more. Let's move on.
They're laughable.
Major League Baseball started today. I don't want to spend a lot of time with that. I'll just report the Yankees took an 8-2 loss at the stadium today to the Boston Red Sox in the first game of the season. The reason why I did want to bring it up was there's a young fella from the area, local product from Prince George, Virginia, which for those folks out of state, that's a suburb of Petersburg, which is about 45 minutes or so away from us in the Richmond area. A young black kid by the name of Jackie Bradley Jr., who was expected to spend this season in single A ball, who came into camp and just lit it up, batted over 400. And we asked, why are we bringing this kid up? One, because he's a local kid. I wanted to give him some shine. That's one thing. But the other reason is there's been a dearth of black kids playing baseball in the last 10, 15, 20 years, Jay. I'm going to come to you on this one first. The fact that has been the case, and we see hopefully an influx in the next couple of years, particularly starting with this kid playing in the city like Boston, which we know typically doesn't play rookies unless they come right out the box, a la Dustin Pedroia. What's your thoughts on black kids playing baseball in 2013? I mean, we don't see it quite as much as we did 20 years ago.
I've always loved baseball. Never played it. Was more interested in football. I wonder, though, I would bring this up, how much the concussions and the injuries that we're seeing in the NFL has to do with, younger kids playing baseball in high school, playing baseball in middle school, and coming up through the ranks. As far as the number of black kids playing, I can't say whether or not that's really changed because I don't follow baseball like that. Right. But I would say that it's been an American pastime for years, and I just think we're seeing more. What you think, Big Rube?
Living in the Hampton Roads area for 11 years, baseball is crazy down there, and it's as the Uptons came from Chesapeake, and
that's
they played,
PJ and Justin.
Yes, but they played in a private school down there. They didn't play in public school. However, Petersburg, Dinwiddie, Prince George, obviously, black kids play up here. However, they're not. I guess the fundamentals is not as strong because, not saying they're not good, but it's very few people from this area who are very few people, not even black, just very few people who go to the next level, without going through college first. And I believe this kid went straight from high school to pros, right?
No, he went to college. I believe it was Alabama. I had to look
Did he do 4 or did
he did a year?
Yeah.
From what I understand, they won a national title, and then he did a year in Double-A.
Yeah.
So
he was probably drafted in high school, out of high school, but he went to school because
Generally, most baseball players are drafted in high school.
yeah, they need to go. He just needed to go, and it is very rare that we have people in this area, much less young black gentlemen who play baseball. So I think it's great. However, he plays for the wrong team, and it's interesting. And I think about it. You take away Big Papi, Coco Chris, who's not black.
Neither is Big Papi.
Yeah, but most people will say that they are. When was the last time the Red Sox played a black person?
Jim Rice is a Hall of Famer, and
but that's how many years ago?
That's the first name that comes to mind. I don't want to make it a referendum against particular teams and them bringing in black players. I will say this though, Jim Rice. A lot of us feel like he should have been in the Hall of Fame a lot earlier than he was, and he was a verbal proponent of some of the racism that he experienced up in the New England area, and he was somewhat a surly type of character, which may have led to him not getting into the Hall of Fame as early as maybe his stats suggest that he should have. Which is unfortunate because, we all know that players like Ty Cobb was kind of a knucklehead. We know that from history. We know that Barry Bonds is a knucklehead. Even if you take away the steroids, he would have had a hard time getting in just because he was surly. So there's a lot of players, particularly in baseball, not so much in the other sports, but in baseball, that don't get into the Hall of Fame, whether they're black or whatever, because of their personalities. But speaking to the black thing with regards to playing baseball, I think a lot of it has to do with the availability of the equipment, the availability of, the locations, the locales, the fields, and things of that sort. I remember when I was coming up, baseball was a big deal in my neighborhood, and all the kids wanted to play. We used to go down to Bayside Park off of Garfield Avenue in Jersey City, and pretty much most of my neighborhood was on the team. I don't know if the Little League teams are still there now in Jersey City, but I do know that around the country, baseball fields are beginning to dry up. You got basketball courts and you got football fields, but you don't have baseball fields. Now, part of that is you got a basketball and a kid and a net. There you go. You can play and you can practice on your own. Football, but you need 2 kids to play catch with. If you get 4, you can play a game. Whereas baseball, you need a glove, and then you need a ball, and then you need a bat, and then you need a bunch of kids, and then you need a whole lot of space. So it's not quite as easy to pick up in the inner cities, which would partially explain the reason why over the last generation or so, the appeal of it has begun to wane. But I look forward to watching this kid. As Big Rube alluded to, Jackie Bradley Jr. does play for the wrong team. We're Yankees fans.
Hopefully he'll get traded.
Big Rube and I. But I do look forward to looking upon his. I do look forward to looking upon his career with great anticipation. Last thing I want to get to in this segment is the NCAA brackets, and of course, we can't talk about the brackets without talking about the tragic injury that we saw yesterday in the Louisville game. Now, I will say before we go too far in this, I want to say that Marcus J is ahead of Big Rube in the brackets. That's the first thing I want.
Are you the only one of us?
I'm pulling it up as we speak. I know I'm way ahead of you, and when we look at the points,
You're not way ahead.
you don't have no points left.
I do. I still got Louisville.
You do not have Louisville.
Louisville going to the championship game. I can score one more time.
Okay, but
But I don't think that's enough for me to overtake you.
Okay, well,
unfortunately.
I'm looking at it right
Chump.
now, and if I call out your name, please say present. Wreak Havoc. Is Wreak Havoc in the room? Okay, Wreak Havoc's not in the room. Wreak Havoc is number one. Who's Dunk Faces? We don't have Dunk Faces in the room. Okay, then that leaves me, Marcus J, at number 3. Nuke Man is Big Rule. K-Dub is number 5.
Underneath my feet,
K-Dub is number 5. You got to be kidding me. Who's that?
That's me.
That's Jay Grizzly. You got to be kidding me. So that means that Carlton Banks at Dallas is
Bringing up the rear.
is bringing
We
up-
knew who that
is
was.
bringing up the rear. So yeah, Big Rube, you do have some points left, but because Grizzy and Marcus J both went with Louisville as the eventual winner.
Nah, man, you so far down, you can't catch me.
He and I both have an opportunity to score more points. Ruben, you have a little bit more points left. I'm not worried about Wreak Havoc or Dunk Faces because both of them have tapped out. They're not scoring any more points. All their teams are gone. I got plenty of points still on the board, Big Rube. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to talk a little bit of trash because you can't catch me. It's not possible because I have Louisville. So even if you score some points, guess who else is scoring some points? so you can't catch me. So
I will concede this one to Marcus J.
I am not a big trash talker. I'm not a big trash talker. I usually like to try to speak to, what's fact, as far as, as opposed to what I think might happen. That was you a couple weeks
I got
ago
some facts.
talking about
I got some
how
facts.
great your prowess of
One
picking brackets were.
1 out of 4 people in this show beat me. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, but you said that you was going to beat all of us.
Yeah, man, the Miami loss killed me.
Yeah,
that killed me.
Is that an excuse?
I'm just saying.
Grizzy, was that an
It kills
excuse?
me.
Can we replay
Grizzy.
on MixLR? Ain't no half step on Marcus J. A couple weeks ago, you went on
A rant.
a Mussolini rant.
I think what he just did, Grizz.
Yeah, he's talking about how he's the greatest.
I conceded.
NCAA.
I conceded my defeat. I've given my defeat,
Eat
and
your
I've
words,
conceded.
brother.
I've conceded the victory to Marcus, but I will not concede to rest of the other people underneath me.
Oh, you can concede.
Man, concede nothing. You can't catch me.
He just said that you
You
beat him.
can't catch me.
Listen to Ain't No Half Stepping with Marcus J on MixLR or on the Facebook page. Next week, when Grizz and Marcus J surpasses Ruben after the end of the NCAA tournament, please give him a bunch of crop. Because he's just sitting here talking a whole bunch of
Look,
stuff,
man.
and he's just gonna try to play it all.
1 out of 4. I'll take those odds.
Yeah, he'll
It's no
take
big
it.
deal.
Look, I just like to add, I burned my bracket out the Gonzaga loss.
That was a
You
long
expect
time
him to
ago.
go far?
I had Syracuse still winning it all, but
Well, if you had Syracuse, then you're okay for now.
yeah, but somebody else at the office had Syracuse as well, so
And they did better.
yeah. They had Harvard winning. I didn't have Harvard winning, so that come up.
The ones that killed me, first of all, the whole West can suck it. The whole West is just terrible.
Really?
I mean, really. When Ohio State went down, that was my last hope to get some more points, and them chumps lost, and I was very upset. When Miami went down, I knew I was in trouble. In that game, Miami should have won. But real talk,
Carlton Banks, you bringing up
Wichita State destroyed more brackets than mine, and
mine.
I mean they just made bracket. I hope they win it all.
Carlton
You know
Banks.
what?
You bringing up the rear, man. What you got to say over there?
First of all, I couldn't get into the site to find out my brackets and do what I needed to do in regards to it. So, hey, it is what it is.
It's only a bracket.
Congratulations,
Dude,
Ruben,
you picked
beat
the
me,
bracket.
but
You got
lost.
that much done. You don't
Right.
have to do
I got
nothing
the
else
bracket
but
done,
look
I
at the
couldn't
rest.
see- I couldn't look at it.
Yeah, all you did was lose.
To look at it.
All you did was lose.
We can tell you that.
I mean, yeah, but y'all are wanting to tell me that, especially Ruben wants to tell me that.
I'm
Tell you what.
Had
That
Duke
you suck?
had Duke won last night over that emotional game.
If it was a fifth.
And you know what?
You know what? They were down 1 point when that happened, and they lost by 20 or something
Yeah.
close to that.
Prediction:
So
Louisville's gonna take that loss. That dude breaking his leg, they gonna win the whole thing now.
All right,
There's
well,
no doubt in my mind.
Grizzy and I both have Louisville, and let's go ahead and talk about that. Jay, I'm gonna come to you first. You showed me you showed me a picture that I hadn't seen. I saw the video of it because I wasn't watching the game. If I understand you correct, you were watching the game.
I was watching the game.
All right,
yeah.
so tell me, you watching the game? Do you notice it when it happens, or is it the reaction of the people around him that leads you to?
It's the reaction.
So tell me your thoughts.
Initially, my back is away from the TV, and I turn around, and all I see is all the players from Louisville on the ground. They're on their knees, guys looking like they about to, start balling.
Some of them did.
And then they replay it, and you still don't quite see what happened because he lands off screen. So when they replay it a third time, you see the way his leg just buckled under the weight of his body, and he was done.
Big Rob?
He was done.
More props to that dude, because after he broke his leg in two, somehow he found the intestinal fortitude to call his team over to him, basically be like, yo, don't worry about me, let's get this done. This is like a couple months thing, this whole thing's a lifetime. And they went out, and you could tell that they played for this guy.
Yes.
And they beat the dog pants out of dude. And it wasn't even Duke's fault. It was just, they just got super hot, and I've never seen Louisville play like that. And then the best thing I did see at the end, when at the end they holding the trophy up, two of the dudes was holding his jersey right underneath the trophy.
Yeah.
And then today on my Twitter account, they had a picture of him in the hospital with the NCAA regional trophy.
And he was rocking his hat.
Yeah, dude was like, what? And I was just like, man, I would have been balling.
Let's see, the thing about it, when he broke his leg, he went into shock. He went to straight shock. He probably let out of pain when it broke, but after that, he was in straight shock because he looked down at his leg and was like, oh.
Yeah, you see a bone.
You see bone. So his teammates, you see the reaction of the crowd before you even see the reaction of the player in that whole standpoint. I mean, I was looking at people like, damn, why they on the ground praying and whatnot?
Right.
And then the next thing you know, they done panned and they replayed it like you said, and that's when you see him land on the side of his foot, which in turn breaks the bone. Because just too much pressure from him jumping in the air and falling in that particular direction just said snap.
Yeah.
I really need to see the man. He needs to get some type of bone density testing because
they had surgery immediately, and whatever they need to do to fix it, they fixed it. So now it's all about convalescing and
healing,
learn how to walk again.
Yeah, when I saw it, I wasn't watching the game live. I happened to see all of the chatter on Facebook and Twitter, and everybody was talking about it. And so I wanted to know what was going on. So I'll go to YouTube last night, and I didn't see what I was looking for last night until I pulled it up earlier today. And I got to be honest with you, the only thing that I could think of, which I think is not nearly as bad, was the Joe Theismann injury. I don't think the Theismann injury even comes close to how bad this one was, in my personal opinion. I got two Redskin fans in the room. Big Ro, come to you first. What's your thoughts? I mean, I know it's kind of insensitive to play to which injury was worse game, but for the purposes of the discussion,
honestly, I thought the RG3 injury was way worse than the Theismann injury because the way he hit the dude.
Ain't nobody asked you about no RG3?
Well, but I'm comparing.
I don't care about no RG3.
I don't care about what you said. I don't think
broken bones in that.
I'm not talking about no RG3.
Hey, look, I don't want
to hear about RG3.
Guess what? You're going to hear about it. You're going to cut me off.
I'm about to cut you off.
Guess what? It's not going to happen. I am answering the question. No. I think the Theismann injury it didn't look that bad.
Okay, good.
To be perfectly honest with you, I thought the RG3 injury looked worse than that. And I think the Louisville injury destroyed that. Because you saw RG3 legs look like
I already gave you a Redskin plug by bringing up Theismann. You got to mess it up by talking about RG3.
No Redskins fan like that.
I don't care about no RG3.
I care about Theismann.
I'm gonna just say this. As far as the Joe Theismann injury, being hit by Lawrence Taylor, I'm gonna just have to go with that alone.
Yeah. You see his reaction?
Having him crush, he land on you and crush you like that. Like, I didn't like seeing the replay when I watched The Blind Side. But I'ma still go with Big Rube here and say that
Oh gosh, really?
Seriously?
that RG3 injury, man.
Seriously?
Like, because you see it though.
Seriously though?
Like he stepped
Yo,
back
the
and his
Johnson,
leg
you didn't
just-
really
But
see.
I didn't ask y'all about no RG3.
That's not the point.
I don't
We
care
just
about
asked you
him.
who- But
Can you
it's
compare
like
A
this.
to B without bringing in C?
Because A sucks. A's a horrible comparison.
I don't want to talk to you no more.
I don't care what you want to do.
We're going to move on and take a break.
Crazy.
because
I got kids about you.
Calm Banks. You got me flustered.
A bigger injury would be that guaranteed 55 they paying Romo. That's a big
That's
injury.
an injury to the salary cap. Calm Banks real quick before we go to break. What's the worst injury, Joe Theismann
the worst
or
injury
this
had
kid?
to be my man jumping on the court. I mean,
Yeah.
seriously, he did all that by himself. Only thing that helped him was gravity. Make that accident.
Ain't no half stepping, Marcus. Jay, go ahead and take a break. We're going to take our first break of the night. When we come back, we're going to get into the National Basketball Association. We're excited to do it. We don't have your man K-Dub tonight, but we're going to have to soldier through without him, Marcus J. Ain't no half stepping. Tonight, we dedicating the music to Marvin Gaye. It's been 29 years since we lost him, and his birthday is tomorrow. So we're going to play some soul music tonight. Got a little inner city blues. Marcus J. Ain't no half stepping. Back in a minute.
Big Rube.